Before we get started with today's video, I just want to remind people they can go to the Patreon. It's patreon.com/JackCecil, and if you're interested to become a Patreon member, I put up some before anyone else gets to see it stuff behind the scenes and stuff like that, and there's some cool stuff going on there. So check it out if you want to help out. If you don't, no big deal. I appreciate everybody who does help out, and hopefully you guys enjoy today's video. Look at that guy, huh? That's a thumbnail right there. RX7 is on the dyno. We just did a baseline pull, and I just worked on the tune a little bit, just the baseline stuff. We made 270 horsepower to the wheel, and 232 foot-pounds of torque, so not too shabby for a stock car. You can see up here I was able to muster out a little bit of power. The first run I made was tapering down to around 238 horsepower. Now it's tapering to about 258. So it was like a 20 horsepower bump up top, which is good. Air-fuel ratio is dialed in right around 11.4. And now we're gonna add a couple of parts. So the biggest concern for these is heat, clearly. And I made a few runs just to make sure we got some temperature in it. Problem is, it's pulling air in from this area under here, which is all hot. It's right above the radiator. There is a duct here, which you'll see when I pull the intercooler out, but it doesn't do a very good job of transferring cooler air over to this side where the intake is. So the new intake is an Auto EXZ carbon duct that basically will pull in air from a much fresher area, and with a big giant Hawkins filter. So with this intake, we should be able to draw in some cool air and keep those inlet temperatures down considerably. And hopefully that'll help us make a little more power. Second item.
Some big whooshing sounds after.
Maybe. We'll see, that'd be cool. Next item is the intercooler. So this is the Night Sports Super U. We'll pull that out in a minute.
I got the water bottle in there from the day you opened it.
Oh yeah, look at that. But anyway, this intercooler provides a huge area increase without increasing the size of the entire package. So it still fits in a factory location, but it flows twice as much air, technically. It's 2 cores. So you have the 2 cores sandwiched on top of each other, where the first core gets a blast of cooling and the second core gets that extra cool. So the second core is actually in front of the first core, which is funny. Anyway, we're going to install those and we'll run it again, make some adjustments as necessary. I'd like to see 300 horsepower. If we get anywhere close to 300, I'll be more than happy. But even if the power stays where it's at now and it just is a reliability mod, keeps it cool, I'm happy with that.
What does it come from the factory with?
They're rated at 255 horsepower.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so,
a lot.
And to the wheel, that translates to about 220.
Still a lot.
210,
Still more
220.
than my car stock.
So, yeah.
My car with a haul tag.
Yeah. So this car with the haul tech and the mid pipe, which I put on it, with those 2 items and a little bit of tuning, we were able to get, you know, a solid 50 horsepower, 40 to 50 horsepower out of it on 93. So
and we're not even on E85.
We're not even on E85.
On there, corn fed.
Exactly. This is just 93. So next, let's get these items in there and see what they do. All right, so we got everything out. Intercooler gone, battery gone, intake gone, it's all out. Here's the stock intake with the plumbing, pipes, couplers, stock intercooler. You can see it's pretty dinky, I guess is the best way to put it. It's a dinky little intercooler.
You seen a roach truck?
Yeah, a roach coach.
That's my first time.
First time seeing a roach coach. Thanks for the interruption.
No, man.
Should I go back? Should I go back to work?
Want to bite my chicken sandwich?
Is it good?
Right.
Ooh, no, I don't want that. So anyway, stock intercooler out, stock ducting. This is what's replacing it. Check this out. Look at the size there, huh? Fuck, that thing is thick. Versus this little wanky thing. So that should help cooling considerably. And I'm gonna beat a Roadster. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, right. $1,000.
$1,000. Okay. Here's the ducting. We'll get that in. So, all right. Time to start the installation. I'll spare you the details.
What got going on there, bud?
Ooh, man. Going deep in the RZ.
Are you?
Yep. We got intake, intercooler, tuning. It's looking good.
You kind of see it over there, a nice shininess popping over the top.
That's right. It's gonna make some good power. We'll see. Not stock anymore.
What do you think you're at for time right now?
Time?
Yeah,
As far as
getting this in.
I got another hour.
Really?
Yeah. I gotta do the intake too.
Yeah, the intake's pretty fucking big. That's
Yeah, so I got a couple things to do. I'm not gonna
not rushing.
not rush.
Gotcha. We'll check back in a little bit.
And here is the finished product. You can see, got the intake in, intercooler in, everything's back in, topped off. We were ready to warm it up, make some backup runs, and see if we picked up anything. Gang. See if we got any gain.
I think we did.
Let's see.
You ready for Goomba? Fuck yeah, that's cool, man. That's really cool.
No other changes at all.
That's really cool.
Right on the money.
That's what we wanted.
That's it. That's
There
awesome.
you go. That was worth another 30 horsepower on top of stock equipment. Obviously makes a pretty big difference. And can't do it though without an ECU because you got to tune for it. Otherwise it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It'll be too much power for the stock ECU to handle. It'll lean out. So
Yeah.
Haltech, definitely A1, got to do that first. Exhaust, get rid of the cat. Intake, intercooler. You're good to go.
300.
300 horsepower.
Nice.
300 horsepower, it's not too bad. The car is awesome. I love it. Power-wise, that's really all I'm looking to make. I don't necessarily want to take this setup any further than that, especially on 93. To do anything more than this, I'm gonna need to upgrade the injectors. It's just they're maxed out basically. So I did order a secondary fuel injector rail with injectors, and unfortunately, I ordered this back in September. But unfortunately, the guy who was selling the kit, he decided to change the design of the kit. It was a real easy. It was ugly. It wasn't a real big deal. It wasn't pretty, but it did the job. It was a steel rail and everything, and I guess he decided to change the design a few months ago and start trying to do it in aluminum or something with a CNC. So that turned into a waiting process. I was back and forth with him for the past few months and he produced nothing. So I'm not gonna say who it was, but if you're in the FD community, you probably know. Anyway, hopefully I can come up with another solution. I put a couple more emails out. We'll see if anybody comes up with anything. I'd like to upgrade the secondaries. really, again, I'm not pressed for it at this point. I want to do it right. I don't want to do it wrong. And right now I'm really happy with the power it's at. Another little issue I fixed or resolved was the pre-control. If you see in the dyno graph, it was a little low. I was only making 7 pounds on the first turbo in the primary, and turns out the motor's been out of the car. I'm guessing it's been built, and I guess when they put it back together, they removed the restrictor pill for the pre-control actuator. So I went ahead and put another pill in there, a little restrictor pill, and that got me back to my 10 PSI primary boost. So that's fixed. Car runs awesome. Next upgrades that I want to do, stat, brakes, suspension. Those are the two things. Suspension, not so much as the brakes, but the brakes definitely. The stock brakes are ragged. They need help. So I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade the brakes first and foremost. Until then, I'll probably just throw some new rotors and some EBC pads just to get it a little more bite. But other than that, this car is coming along really well. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content and you want to see more of it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'm definitely going to be doing more stuff to this car, so stay tuned.